Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Bayshore Sportstalk. I'm your host, Steve Budd, and we're very happy to have as our guest this evening two gentlemen. One who's going to be involved in a lot of hard hitting in a couple of months, Brian Donahue to my immediate right, who's a local boy who made good with the New York Jets. He'll be playing nose guard for them in the upcoming season. And accompanying him, his brother, Jack, who's taken an active interest in Brian's career and in some special projects as well, which we will get into. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Steve.
And
it's our pleasure.
First of all, congratulations to you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
On making the team. It's going to be a nose guard, folks. Now, we all know what nose guard means because we think of the first nose guard that comes to mind for the Pats was Sugar Bear Hamilton.
Sure.
Right? And Mike Ruth is playing nose guard, isn't he?
Great
As
player,
well.
yes,
And Joe Klecko plays nose guard.
Yes, he does.
And so now here you come. Have you ever played that position before, Brian?
Yes, I have. Back in high school, I played quite a bit, quite a few positions. Nose guard was my mainstay, though. Down at the University of Texas, I was a nose guard. When we were in the 5-3 defense, I handled it very well. I enjoyed it, right in the thick of things.
When you think of nose guard, we never saw until recently where that man butts nose to nose with the center, right?
Yes, sir.
And the function of that is what? What main function do you have as a nose guard?
My main objective, Steve, is just to wipe out the center and the
That's it.
quarterback. It's just to dismantle his body. That's about it.
And it obviously takes a big guy. When we see guys like Ruth, my word, I mean, and yourself, you're 6'4".
6'4", about 293 right now, yes, sir.
So you don't have to call me sir. That's okay. I'm going to call you sir in about a second. Went to Archbishop Williams.
Archbishop Williams.
Right.
Yes.
Jack here went to Quincy High.
Yeah, I went to Quincy High. I was never really athletically involved. It's not my interview, but
No, really, go.
Yeah,
And how do you become? You've been following your brother all
well, we have a very close-knit family, and everyone's very concerned about his athletic activities and his personal well-being. And the calls started coming in, right about when the draft was, and he was kind of like the Rocky story, the Rocky Balboa, quiet, subdued. He went to Texas, Division I, then he went to Iona for patriotic reasons to train with the Olympic coach, Tony DeClario.
How does someone go to Texas out of Archbishop Williams? That's never been done before.
Well, what I did is went up to Phillips Exeter Academy in New Hampshire for 1 year of prep, college prep. Developed myself a little better physically, mentally, and...
What were you in high school? What was your size then?
My dimensions, 6'2", 6'3", about 240 pounds, 235.
So you've got 50 more pounds there.
Yeah, about that right now.
That's all from training, Nautilus and the whole bit, or?
Yes,
What do you work up for?
very, very extensive training program. Currently, I'm training at Universe Gym in Quincy, and which is a great facility. In my younger years in high school, I was into the weights to a small degree. When I got down to Texas, I started working with Oscar Jacobson, who was probably my best friend in athletics thus far. He's a 3-time Olympian from Iceland, and he showed me the ropes to athletic training and weight.
But high schools weren't into the weights and everything way back when, were they? I mean,
I
high
never
schools.
was.
And high schools didn't have their own gyms or their own Nautilus machines or anything as they do now. They didn't budget for them. Athletic directors in those days didn't budget for it.
Well, Archbishop Williams, they had a great program. They were building as I was there, and by my senior year, we had every facility known to the weightlifting.
Yeah. Who saw you at Phillips then? Did you play? You played for Phillips then?
I played for Phillips.
And who saw
Academy,
you?
yes, sir.
And who saw you from the Southwest Conference that they?
Well, track and field was probably my mainstay at that time, and football was kind of a secondary thing. I went down to Texas to throw the shot put originally, and that went very well my first year. And then second year, 1982, the coaches said you just have to play ball. You just have the size, the strength, and the movement. You just have that edge, that look to you. That you could be a great ball player. And I said, well, I think it's time to get back into it. And so in '82, I did get into ball. But originally, I went to Texas for track and field.
Oh, okay. Okay. So then you had to try out like anybody else then, right?
Yes, I did.
Did you have a scholarship for track?
I was on a track scholarship my freshman year, 81.
Mm-hmm.
In 82, I switched it over to a football scholarship. I think I made a pretty good impression on them in my first week at camp in 82. I broke the 7-man sled. I broke the hinges right off it and threw it at the coaches.
It's a fact.
They call me the sled slayer down there.
This is the one where you're ramming into, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all for hand-eye coordination. In other words, your quickness coming out of your stance.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be a light drill. We didn't have any pads on yet, just helmets. And I really kind of hit it a little too hard, I guess. I don't know. They say maybe the sled was a little bit loose, but I don't think so. I think I gave it a good whack.
Do you hold all the weight records down there, am I correct?
Yes, Jack, I do.
Yeah, that's the University of Texas.
In Austin.
Yeah.
Yes,
What are some of your stats, Brian?
Well, as of today, I have a 585-pound bench press with 750-pound squat. I have a 400-pound over-the-head press. And
We should see this guy in the arm wrestling right for the NFL someday. That's what you'll be doing. Gee. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was watching a Texas game one afternoon, and you've been on national TV, I'm sure. Someone said, yeah, that guy there, watch for Brian Donahue from Quincy, and I was watching. National television has come back to this area, obviously. Do your family get together and watch this fellow as much as you can, or?
Everything's going to be pure excitement, national. Everything is going to be pure excitement.
Yeah.
The family is 100% behind him. You know, the community is 100% behind him. I know you're going to ask me some questions a little later about some of the programs we've got, but we're all very, very proud of him. Brian is an outstanding athlete and individual and a person within the community to be very much admired and looked up to. We won't get into it now, of course, but Brian I've seen bring to a room 75 young children to tears.
as well as myself.
As well as us. With his compassion and his want to see the best for them. You know, I know we're getting off the track here, but I'm just very proud of him.
Yeah,
you know,
we will get into that too, because there is a dichotomy, isn't there? They talk about the violence of pro football, yet on the other hand, we see gentlemen like Brian who, nice guys and love working with kids and that type of thing.
That's always been one of my main things. I've always wanted to keep the aggression on the field where it belongs. It is a game, no matter which level it is, whether it's collegiate or pro or high school or Pop Warner. It is a game, and people sometimes forget that. I refuse to forget that. I feel that you keep the aggression on the field. When you're off the field, you're a gentleman. You treat people with respect, because that's all people are looking for, is to be respected.
Yeah. Brian, were you drafted, or did you have to wait for the...
No, I went as a free agent.
Now, but were you sitting by the phone that day and expecting it to ring, or...
I think Jack could handle that better than I could.
Brian pretty much knew where he was going in 1984. Not with contact with the Jets directly, but my father, who passed on from cancer in 1984, was given a gift about 2 weeks before his demise, which was a little ball that you hang on the Christmas tree, and it was a robust football player in a Jets uniform, and it said, "Dad, together we can do all things, we can make it." And that was given to my father. And Brian, who transferred up to Iona, which is in New York, right near the area, and his outstanding coach, Harold Crocker, has a lot of good friends, in the coaching staff of the New York Jets, and they had an eye on him, etc. And like you say, with his speed, his aggression, his agility, and all that go with it, and his sincere desire. I mean, he had plane tickets to go to Miami. He was sitting in his agent's office, and basically he says, you want to go to Miami? Both of you are gone. And Brian says, I want to be and am a New York Jet. Immediately went down for his free agent tryout, was signed immediately, 2 minutes after he got there. I mean, they knew what they wanted, he knew what he wanted. It was a great marriage from the start. Then he went back to the free agent camp. In fact, 3 times, excuse me. Went down initially for the tryout, went back to sign, and then went for the camp. And one of the more interesting points that Brian's brought out to the family is that they have this beautiful green, in the helmets. By the time the end of the camp had come and gone, Brian's helmet was almost white, meaning the paint had been taken off. What do you feel about the New York Jets, Brian? He was a New York Jet years ago in his heart. I think that's all he wanted to go.
Yeah. Who do you look up to, Brian, on that particular team? Who are you looking for guidance and everything as far as the upcoming season's concerned? No
I
one.
don't look up there.
No. Okay.
I respect them
Yeah.
very much. I'm not saying that, and I'm not insolent in any way.
Yeah.
I look up to each and every member of the team because they've all committed themselves to athletic excellence.
Uh-huh.
But you cannot look and have idols.
Okay.
You know, you always have to strive to be the best that you can be, and you cannot be looking up to people,
Yeah.
or you will not be the best that you can be.
The point being, though, does someone take you by the hand and say, hey, here's the way to do this? Or do you have teachers? Do you have, I mean, you hear about old veteran pitchers who take young pitchers and try to teach them some tricks. Does that happen in football?
I think what it is there's a little bit of an intimidation factor. They do try to intimidate and kind of play a little bit of a game with you, you know, when you first get in until you really break in. I feel I've already passed that point. I feel that Joe Klecko and Mark Gastineau, Marty Lyons are already considering me one of their group. And I feel we'll have a very good working relationship, as well as a personal relationship off the field.
Now, Brian, you've made the team, right? We can say that.
No,
And
he's a New York Jet.
you're a New York Jet. You're
Yes,
going to be on that roster the opening day. Exhibition season starts in August.
August 9th, yes, sir.
Okay. And nose guard, huh? We were talking about this before the show started. Klecko, I've noticed, and he's the first one I've noticed do it, has that sideways stance.
Yes, sir. That's a,
What's he doing with that? What's the purpose?
Basically, what we're looking at is lining up as close to the ball as possible, with both. Say you're on this side of the center. Looking at is could I demonstrate? A little
Sure. Let's
bit?
watch. Well, actually, we could do it this. Yeah, let's get this out of here. As Steve Budd goes flying. All right, I'm going to be. Who am I?
Anyone you want.
I'm hooked up here. Hold on one second. Hold on. Let me rehook myself. I'm going to be starting center for the New England Patriots. I am. What's his name? Pete Brock. Let's say Ron Whoop.
Jack, would you like to play Steve Brogan or Tony Anderson?
Relax,
All
back.
right.
I'll be a cheerleader.
Now.
What we have here is if you are the center,
Yeah.
and you're lined up straight on.
Yeah.
Usually a nose guard's position will be straight on. He'd be this way,
Okay.
coming straight into the man.
And I got the ball right here with one hand.
In this new defensive philosophy, in this new alignment for the nose guard,
Yeah.
what we have here is an angle.
An angle.
You have the ball down here, or an angle such as this. Now, when the center makes his move, all we're
Angle.
doing is just kind of coming on the side, just
Aha.
knocking his head for a ring. Ting-a-ling.
Woo! Let's do this from the side. Want to see this at another angle, folks, in slow motion? Let's try it this way, Brian. That's great. And I'll be looking right at this camera, and you're coming on this way, huh?
Yes, sir, instead of the straight on.
Okay.
The center,
And I
instead
snap.
of concentrating on the snap, he's kind of looking towards me a little more, and it throws him.
Now,
in
what if the
front.
running play is over this way? I mean, what if the running play's that way? You're left out in the cold. I have an easy block this
Actually
way, don't
not, though, because I'll be on you so quick, I'll push you right through the whole side of the line.
I? Yeah. All right.
This way here.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. That's why I like basketball. That's why I like golf. All right, let's have a seat. Very good. That was most impressive and shocking. Ma, don't worry, Mom. I'll be all right. Oh, brother. You know, you see those NFL films, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, do you grunt? I mean, do you do you do that stuff? I mean, does that help or?
Are you talking about on highlight film?
Yeah, right. Do they actually do that or?
Actually, you'd be surprised some of the things you hear. I won't mention some of them here, but
Yeah.
many people have referred to my mother. I don't even know they knew her. Okay, it gets very crazy out there, and there's a lot of full contact.
Oh, boy. See, that's the thing when I guess people who have 50-yard line seats, they can experience the hitting more so than we can on TV, obviously.
Sure.
And you can feel it. And that. Have you ever gotten that close, Jack, to seeing your brother in action and hitting?
Yeah, I've been there.
Are you in amazement how he can go through all of this? And
There have been times when Brian, even when he came home from this camp last week, I thought it was going to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
He came in the house, we didn't even know him. He gears himself so much for the game. He loves the game. It is, I mean, I've never seen a professional athlete sit in front of the director of personnel for one of the finest team in the league and just say, I don't want the money, I just want to play. I see the guy go, whoa, this is Dr. Royal, who we have a great deal of respect for. He's the director of personnel who is a cornerstone, if not the central nucleus of this particular team. And good man, good
Very
man.
good man, yes.
You know, one thing I wanted to state, I know Brian probably went by quickly. You asked if there was anyone he looked up to. Brian's always been a coachable person, and it's the coaches that really extract the best from you.
Yes, sir.
You know, you ever see the movie like Rambo and Colonel Troutman? Brian, when he gets with like his defensive coach, in this case it'll be Coach Callahan, I think that's who he gets his energies from. He needs to be directed. I mean, these people are there to bring the very best out in him, and I don't mean to answer for him, but am I pretty much on target with that?
You're right on the ball, Jack, yes.
Yeah.
I've always had a great respect for my coaches. I really stood in amazement last week when I looked at Mark Gastineau walk by Joe Walton in the locker room and call him, "Hey Joe, how you doing?" To me, I don't care if you're the best player in the NFL or who you are, I feel that you should always have the respect for the coach. I always call him coach. I look back at my Pop Warner coaches now, when I was 11 years old, and I say, "Coach, how are you, sir? It's a pleasure to see you." That's the way it has to be. That's the discipline. That's respect. So I'm very big on respect, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's part of, I mean, even growing up, Archbishop Williams, did you go to parochial elementary school?
St. Mary's, yes, right down the street from my
Yeah,
house.
I
St.
think that
Mary's
has a lot to
in
do with
Sure
it.
it does.
You know, plus, as you say, a good Catholic family.
Yeah, Roman
You know?
Catholic, yeah.
I mean, you know, that has something to do with it as well.
Christian is a wide,
That's right, Christian,
wide
that's
variety.
My mother and father always said, just respect people
Yeah.
and be kind.
Yeah.
That was a big thing my mom and dad always stressed.
Yeah.
Be kind.
Yeah. One more thing on the Jets as well, though. We, just from a purely football standpoint, with Klecko, Gastineau,
Marty Lyons.
Marty Lyons, that's right, and was it Powell, did you say? Who's
No,
the
he's
other?
gone. He's down.
No, he's
Powell's
gone, he's
released.
gone.
He's
yeah.
on Tampa,
Who's
right?
the fourth down lineman for them?
Bennett.
Okay.
Bennett and Rudolph.
Okay.
There's a couple of...
They, until they met the Patriots, who were on a roll late in the season, you know, a coming team, looked pretty good. And now, but that team, that line is a year older. Although, what are your expectations for the Jets this coming year?
I feel we have a great shot at that Super Bowl.
This is the year.
Yeah, this is the year.
because if
This is
McNeil's wheels are okay,
perfect.
right? Starting quarterback will be Ryan or
Kenny
or O'Brien. O'Brien,
Yes.
okay.
As far as the organization is concerned, Joe Walton feels that this is, I believe he had a quote. Check the quote. Do you remember?
Well,
He said to you,
this
he said
is-
something to the effect,
is
not the end, just the beginning. So in other
Right,
words,
yeah.
that was just a building year. That was just it was kind of a test. This is the final exam.
From a lay person's viewpoint, I mean, you know, I never even had a football uniform on in ninth grade or whatever. But when I had the pleasure of bringing my younger brother out to this particular facility that he had dreamed of, I mean, American dream, fifth generation Quincy resident, going out to the New York Jets, the security, the women waiting out there, the whole 9 yards. Bottom line, they were there to take care of business. And when I went out, I saw greased lightning, all the veterans out there. Handsome guys. I mean, they are handsome guys. You could see the difference in this professional realm, and they were very, very openly enthusiastic. Mark Gastineau. I mean, I had respect immediately for the man to see this 6'5", slender, you know, perfect specimen of humanity. I mean, and you could tell he's a quality individual. Joe Klecko, Marty Lyons, all the gentlemen he'll be working with. And when I saw that, I said, this team is not going places. This team is places. But more importantly, when I had the pleasure of meeting the coaches, you know, I had to share with them, and I just briefly acknowledge Joe Walton, and you can tell that they're ready. You know, they know everything that's going on in every apparatus. They've got the turret up there, or if that's what they call it, and they haul it down from it. That team is going places. You know, this is it.
Yeah.
Definitely, they're ready.
And your expectations about Schaefer Stadium? You'll be playing there for the first time?
Yes, sir.
And the Pats, when do you play them? Have you looked at the schedule? When do you come to Boston or to New England?
I do know.
I know Monday Night Football.
Is it Monday night?
No.
Oh,
There's
no.
one in Miami.
It's October 11th.
Something in October?
October
Yeah.
11th. That's
Okay.
it. Yes, sir. We'll be coming into town, coming back home.
That's going to be big, huh?
Sure.
Okay. One of the other reasons that Jack and Brian are here is that they're involved in a number of projects as well, and we're going to get into that right after this, so stay tuned.